The best way for you to start thinking in English is to start writing in English. Whether you're writing a journal, a blog, or a novel, writing helps you turn your thoughts into complete sentences. Even in your first language, when we write, we become more organized with our thoughts and emotions. We can process them better. And research has shown that writing can make people become not only more intelligent, but also happier. I want you to think about the people you know who you consider to be very intelligent and interesting. I'll bet you anything that they enjoy writing and reading. It takes a while to get started with writing and turning writing into a habit, but today I want to teach you some practical tips to get you started. I really believe that writing regularly, and especially having a regular habit of writing in a journal, will make you become not only more fluent in English, but also more confident. Keeping a journal will help you in your relationship to English. If you enjoy expressing yourself in the language, if you feel comfortable expressing yourself in English, you'll have a much easier time communicating with people. Writing in a journal can help you improve your grammar, vocabulary, and even fluency. In the writing process, we have to think about what we want to express, and then we have to organize our sentences structurally before putting them down on paper. Another advantage is that you can activate the vocabulary that may be passive. When you learn new vocabulary, that might be interesting for a moment, but if you never use it, you'll just forget it again. Research has also shown that we have to use a word several times before we feel comfortable with it. This means we have to grasp for alternative vocabulary and new vocabulary before we put them into our writing or our speech. So get ready. I'm going to give you 7 practical tips that you could use to start your journaling journey today. Let's go. My first tip is to reserve a specific time every day for your journaling. So set aside a specific amount of time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes at the beginning, and this could be either in the morning or during your day or before bed. If it encourages you to write more often, you could buy a small journal and carry it with you. For example, this is my journal. It's not too big. It's kind of nice. I like writing in a nice journal, but you can also get something small like this. And you don't have to write long paragraphs at the beginning. It can be in list form or bullet points. A lot of people also like to make drawings while they're journaling or doodling on the paper, making little designs, which is also okay. It's about creativity. This journal looks a little bit more academic, so it might remind you of your school days, but it's also kind of professional, like something you would write for work. Promise yourself that you will write in your journal every single day. If you're not much of a writer and it bothers you seeing so much blank space in your journal, I would recommend a very, very small journal. That way you could write a page a day in just 4 or 5 sentences. The main thing is to make a habit of it and to be consistent. My second tip is to start with a prompt. If you're feeling stuck or unsure of what you want to journal about, then you can have a set list of prompts to use every time you journal. A prompt can be in the form of a word or a phrase, even an image that inspires you to write. I have plenty of prompts in my free journals that I have linked in the show notes, and you can have a look at those. You can download my 2 free journals and print them out and have your first journal that way. One is on general writing prompts and the other one is on phrasal verb. The summer journal includes general writing prompts, and the phrasal verb journal includes phrasal verbs that you can incorporate into your writing. That's for a little bit more advanced learners. If you prefer, you can use the same writing prompt every day. For example, you can summarize the day you have just had, or you could write your plans for the following day or following week. You could write down things you are grateful for or things you would personally like to change. You could also write down everything that annoys you. It's completely up to you. I'll be making a second video on different types of journaling, but today we're focusing on how you get started. My third tip is to focus on topics that you know a lot about. So at the beginning, I think it's important to focus on simple topics that you are very, very aware of. For example, this could be your personal feelings or your environment, your culture. It could be your field of study or your profession. This way you get used to writing sentences with the vocabulary that you already have and use regularly. And then later you can slowly broaden your vocabulary and broaden the topics you want to write about. If you run out of ideas, you could think about the people you know and write detailed descriptions about them and the things going on in their lives. My fourth tip, and this one is especially for people who want to expand their vocabulary, is to use a dictionary and thesaurus, as long as it doesn't interrupt the flow of your thoughts. English is very rich in vocabulary. There are so many synonyms for words that you may be using over and over. If you need some guidance in how to use a thesaurus or collocation dictionary, you can watch my video, which I'll link now. This will really help you expand your vocabulary and be aware of the different nuances between vocabulary. Once you use a new word, I want you to underline it when you use it. And in the future, you could go back and read through your journal entries, take out those words and try to use them again and again. We have to get familiar with these words and use them several times before it becomes natural. This is really important. You could also reserve a section of your journal just for new vocabulary. Tip number 5 is to keep it simple. You may feel the urge to try to use advanced grammar and overly complicated structures, but since you don't have anyone correcting your journal entries, it's important to focus on writing fluently and clearly, and if you're not sure about the grammar, try to simplify it. Remember that English sentences are rather short compared to sentences of other languages. We like things short and simple. The point in keeping a journal is to improve your fluency in writing and not to impress anybody, even yourself. Especially if the goal is to think in English, it's good to keep it clear and simple. Tip number 6 is to reflect on your writing. When you've completed your writing, I want you to go back over it and read it once again. And think about how it could be made better or more simple. Think about what alternative vocabulary you could have used. You can also set yourself goals before you start writing. For example, maybe you want to try to write an entire page, or you could also come up with a list of vocabulary that you would like to incorporate into your writing. Correct yourself. Go back to older entries and see if you can find any mistakes, maybe something that you've learned since writing it. You could even write about anything you've learned from the process of writing in your journal. My 7th tip is an optional one for those of you who are less shy, and that is to share your journal with others. You can share your journal with friends, family members, or teachers if you feel you are ready to get some feedback on your writing. They may be able to offer you some new insight or ideas on how to improve your writing. I've even seen Facebook groups dedicated to journaling that you could join. Maybe there you could find some inspiration or moral support. It's good to have someone else journaling because you could hold each other accountable. You could get mad at each other when you're not keeping to your journaling schedule. You could also compare the topics you're journaling about. If enough people watching this video have interest in a journaling group, let me know. If there's high demand, I may even consider forming a group for you. Just let me know in the comments. Journaling is the perfect way to improve your writing and thinking in English. By setting aside time every single day for your journaling, you are doing yourself and your English such a great favor. You're going to expand your vocabulary. You're going to have more clear thinking in English. You're going to learn about sentence structure. You're going to have to really concentrate your efforts into producing language, and I'm sure you'll see results very, very soon. Remember, reading and listening are great skills to have. If you enjoy reading and listening, you should be doing that every single day too, but the majority of time should be spent on something active, like writing or speaking. These are the 2 skills you should really be spending the majority of your time on. Everything else is just way too passive. For every hour you spend learning new vocabulary, you should be spending 2 or 3 hours using that vocabulary actively. You're going to improve your writing skills and you're going to improve your confidence in English, I promise you. So until next time, happy journaling!